to a special Mashcast, the Mashcast Plus, where we are going to dig into the Crucible and Destiny. We talked about Destiny before. That was mainly during beta and the campaign, but now we're going to talk about the Crucible. I'm here with two new people to the podcast. I'm here with Jovan Branch, who Sage the Infinite on PSN.
Yep.
And here with Jorge Beguija.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so you got it. There we go. Who is Go-To Energy on PSN too. But you have the game for both, so you've played it for both.
Yeah, Go-To, it's GO2 NRG for PSN, and then on Xbox One it's the JTI. So whatever you want to do.
All right, cool. Yeah, so me and Sage, we primarily play on PS4, and because that appears to be the system that the developers are favoring.
Definitely.
That Activision money.
Yeah, with that Activision money. Which was funny that PSN was definitely down for a few days when Xbox was back up in one day this holiday season. So,
oh man!
Well, it has to do. The Microsoft owns the servers, the operating system, all the technology behind it, whereas Sony licenses their stuff from Cisco, I believe.
Well, their networking equipment, yeah.
Yeah, so all that, whereas Microsoft is all in house, they can take care of that in one swipe. Sony has to be like, "Hi, Cisco, can you come help me? I really need your assistance."
We're gonna get into talking a bit about the Crucible. But let's talk about our characters a little bit. I'll start. That's rude. I'm a rude host.
Red.
Yeah, Sage, why don't we start with you? Talk to us about what you use to play Destiny.
I play as a Titan, level 31 now, and I also have a Warlock and a Hunter that I'm leveling up right now. But I primarily use my Titan. And it was fun for a while, but recently it has not been that great.
But tell me how you really feel.
That's about it, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's actually kind of what kicked off this podcast. So yes. Talking about some things, and we're gonna get into that. But Jorge, why don't you talk about how you play?
I'm the evil one, apparently. I'm the one. Yeah, I'm a level 32 hunter, but I have a level 31 warlock and a currently level 29 titan, but he has equipment to get him to level 31. So,
okay. Now I play a warlock primarily, and actually I have a level 31 warlock. My hunter just got to 17, and I only started a titan because somebody rolled a new character, and I went with him. So I have a Titan at like 10. So I've been playing. I was playing Destiny pretty heavily when it first came out till probably mid-October. Then I got busy with work, and I really didn't pick it back up until I think maybe toward the end of November.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what really took me so long to get up to 31. Actually, I just did my first raid like last week because before then I didn't have anybody to do it with. So, but yeah, Warlock is what I've been playing with. I'm very, very comfortable with it. And that's what I play in the Crucible, which is really what matters in this conversation today.
Yeah.
Now, the reason we want to talk about the Crucible is because the Crucible is broken. It needs to be fixed.
Yes.
The Crucible is very broken and needs to be fixed. And it says a lot when people can say that your game is the worst game of the year and the best game of the year at the same time.
Absolutely.
Totally agree. Totally.
I have never complained so much about a game and kept playing it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I really want it to work out. I feel like that chicken in like an emotionally abusive relationship.
Oh shoot!
I really want it to work out, but he keeps cheating on me, or he keeps he goes out with his friends on a Friday night and leaves me at home. Textbook. So that's what it feels like. Like Destiny keeps leaving us hanging. Like when everybody's saying, "Oh, there's not enough content," I'm like, it's not really that bad. And then when the expansion comes out and they give us 3 new missions, and at first you couldn't even replay one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
you still can't replay one of them.
The fourth one from Eris from the Urn Quest.
Yeah, and that's actually a very cool mission.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it
with the
was.
sword, yeah. So you can't replay that one, but like, dude, like I've never been abused so much. I feel like Call of Duty players right now. Like what Call of Duty players have been getting for years. Like in the when Modern Warfare was like the bit was like revered. Like Modern Warfare 2 and then Modern Warfare 3, where you're paying for DLC packs that are just maps from the old game.
Yeah,
That's rough.
that was Bugetto.
Yeah, that was really rough, and that's kind of the way Destiny feels right now. And then just so many things happening in the Crucible that is sucking the fun out of it. But it's such, I guess, from a mechanics perspective, the game itself is so solid. It's probably one of the most solid shooters, well, console shooters that have come out in years.
Definitely.
You know what? This is gonna seem weird, but just follow me here for a second. Destiny reminds me a lot of Super Mario Brothers, the very first one for Nintendo. And what I mean by that is you just tap forward, Mario goes forward a little bit. You press A just a little bit, Mario jumps up just a little bit. You hold A, he jumps up. And that kind of feeling is the same feeling I have with the controls for Destiny. Just tap a little forward. I feel like I have complete control of where this is going or whatever. Or I mean, I'm doing some weird, insane stuff where I'm flying through the air, swiping my sword or the shield when I'm in the raid, and it feels natural. It feels awesome. And what's so disappointing and so just downright about Destiny is you're given so much control over character, and yet put into situations where it feels like the game just wants you to fail.
Right.
Yes.
It does.
And-
it really does put you in a bad situation. It feels like the game is trying to take away from you what you deserve.
Yeah.
What you fought for.
Yeah. Instead of using actual difficulty modifiers, if I almost feel like Bungie intentionally put glitches in the game in all facets, the multiplayer and the single player and just everything, glitches on purpose to add an element of Nintendo, aka randomness. It's like, oh, here's a blue shell. Fwah! It's like, oh, you're killing Atheon too fast. I'm only gonna send 2 people around. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. We actually we did the first time I did Crota. You know how that sword bearer has to come out?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the sword bearer was fucking up. We were doing great, and this one time the sword bearer would not come out the door. The door opened, he would not come out.
Mm.
Yeah, and we've had other times when he refused to really fight us. It was almost like wherever we would go, he'd go opposite. So they definitely what you say has some merit. It definitely feels like they fucked it up on purpose.
There's one time where we were fighting Crota, the sword legit ran straight all the way to the back, ran past the little pool that you have to jump down into.
Yeah,
and just kept running to the wall and just kept. And I was just looking at this like, I think he broke. He just kept running. The fool just kept running towards the wall. At the wall. I was like, I didn't know he could go this far. He straight up just. I'm looking. I'm like, I'm not surprised that people found so many glitches or so many things to take advantage of in that raid. That raid is extreme. But in everything, just like all the strikes have a glitch or some sort of thing you can take advantage of. Crucible, there used to be a massive glitch where you could start firing rockets from the beginning.
Yes, I've had that happen. Remember, I told you that shit happened to me.
Oh yeah.
I was like, how the fuck did he get a rocket? I just got started.
I do remember that. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's because Activision told him to rush this game out. Due dates on this day. Your game is going to be 33% of our total income for the year, but we're not going to tell me how many people's units we sold because, hey, secrets. Yeah. There's just so much to get frustrated about. But let's just focus on Crucible right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crucible.
All right.
Love it and hate it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get started with lag, because that has been, I think, a problem since almost day one.
Yes.
Right? Like
Uh,
the most basic lag you see is when you kill somebody and then immediately after, you die, or vice versa. Like they kill you and then like you see a kill in between that, and then you kill them like right after that.
Yes.
It's worked in my favor. It has not worked in my favor. It's something that needs to be addressed. And it's pretty ridiculous. And I'm actually curious if the Xbox version has the same lag issue.
it has the same thing.
Okay,
Hmm.
so it's the netcode.
It's kind of annoying. For me, when I can complete the post-mortem bounty by doing knife kills, because I know that as soon as I get shot and I knife somebody, they're gonna die. And you see it every single time. It's like there's no way or no reason for me to be getting a post-mortem kill with a knife attack.
Right. So yeah, uh, I've seen like the thing about it. It's really well. First of all, it's really annoying like to see that happen, and it can actually change the tide of a game. Just about like especially in Control Point where you don't just trade unless you both only have one control point or no. Actually, I think it's impossible to have no. No, you can have no control points either side, but or no control points. If somebody has two control points, you only have one. Well, when they kill you, they get double the points. So it's really not a trade.
Right. I mean,
Right.
I would say that the biggest problem is just and I really don't know how they go about fixing it. It's just you could be. I've never seen a game give so much. What's the word I want to say? So much of an advantage to people who have internet problems in this game.
Yes, I
Yes.
say that all the
Yes.
time. The
Yes.
netcode should be configured so that if succumbing latency is a fact of internet life,
Right.
and the netcode should be configured in such a way, or should be programmed in such a way, where if you are lagging, you are at a disadvantage. Like when I play Team Fortress, when I play Counter Strike, when I play almost any other game, Call of Duty, you are at a disadvantage if you're lagging. It's just annoying to see. But Destiny, it's like you'll be like I watched Sage the other day rail somebody with a machine gun, and their health did not go down, and they turned around and killed him.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
That's happened to me before. I remember shooting rockets and just nonstop rockets into a room, and then the guy comes out and starts dancing. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, yeah, and it's like it's almost to the point where you think they might be doing it on purpose sometimes because of how they move around. It's not like they it doesn't feel like they're a little disoriented or anything like that. Like they know what they're doing.
Exactly. That's what it seems like. I had a situation like earlier today when I was playing, and there was a guy coming up the stairs, and I'm just shooting him in the head. His head, you just see his head. He's walking dead into the wall, and his head's just knocking back and forth because I'm hitting him with headshots. And it didn't give me the kill, and somebody came up behind me and killed me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I stuff like that is just frustrating, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Or even worse, you keep shooting in the head. You'll kill them, but eventually they also kill you with a shotgun.
Yes.
And you're just like, I was over there shooting at you, seeing that you're not dead. I walk up to you to knife you, and yet I die and you die at the same time. How does that even work?
Right. Exactly.
There's. I'm really not sure if it's on Bungie's side, if it's on the like Microsoft and Sony side, or should I say Cisco side, to address. But there's so much lag in this. To experience the same issue 3 matches in a row, me leaving for like 10 minutes, I'm like, you know what? Let me just let it refresh so I'm playing against different people. And to have the same issue happen in another match is just not, there's just no reason for it.
No, totally agree. It's something that's got to be fixed. I don't know what they can do, like you said, but it just turned the Crucible into something that's just not that enjoyable anymore. And I don't even play like a lot of, multiplayer games, deathmatch styles, but I got into this because you kind of just want to try it, and then you get into it, especially with the bounties, how they can, help get your weapons up and your armor and everything. So it's kind of like it's worth it to play multiplayer in this, and it was fun for a while. But I mean, now it's just like all the frustration just comes out now.
Right. I kind of want to piggyback off of what you're saying, but then we would be deviating from what we're talking about, the whole lag. Last thing I'll say about the lag is didn't sort of related, but at the same time not. Didn't Halo used to match you up based on your ping?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
I would just go back to that. If anything, I mean, I'm sitting over here with an extremely low ping, and I'm like, okay, everything's fine, and you can see the ping meter on the right side of every individual's.
Yeah.
And all of us, I see green, red, 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 red. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be one of those matches, isn't it?
Right.
Oh yeah. Like actually, I read a forum post about somebody complaining about that. You go into a match, and like 3 or 4 of the people you're playing with are like in the deep red. Like
Yeah.
they're not like just again they're in the deep red. Actually, he called them Lagmaster Flex. That's what he called them. Because it is ridiculous to see you go there and like, why is this going so poorly? And then you look at the other team, it's like, yo, where are they playing? Are they playing in Switzerland? Like where the fuck are they coming from? That you're getting pings like this. And I think the problem may be, I think that they had a player drop off. Like I think that's part of the issue. Like there's not enough players in your region to play with, or
Right.
there's not enough players in those regions because the United States is probably pretty full with players, but like in other regions, and they keep pulling people from other regions to play here, and that's part of the problem.
Right.
Well, I kind of jumping in on what you just said. I can see that for multiplayer, not for single player. Single player, everybody plays that, and there's a lot of people playing Destiny, even as we speak right now. But I kind of want to continue this, but we would be leaving the whole.
Well, go ahead. I mean, you want to go. It sounds like you really want to do it.
Oh God. Okay. Here's the thing. Have you guys played Pokemon X and Y?
Yeah.
I've never played it. No.
You know that there's when you swipe at the bottom of the screen, you have those little things, where you can go into like these mini games where you're shooting all these projectiles, whatever.
Yeah.
That's basically what the Crucible is to Destiny. The Crucible is nothing more but a way for you to either buff up your character or do something else with your character. There's no. I've never seen a game that uses a multiplayer to boost its single player.
Right.
Mm.
The game is and that's why Crucible is so broken, in my opinion. The original, when you're looking back at the original stuff for Destiny, the whole thing for multiplayer was supposed to be a thing called faction wars. You had Dead Orbit versus New Monarchy versus Future War Cult versus the something about Osiris. I forget what it's called. They got rid of them and another group. But the whole thing was all these factions were supposed to be warring against each other, and that's what was supposed to be going on in multiplayer. You and your clan or your faction going up against a whole bunch of other noobs from other clans, destroying things. And then they changed that. And it's so weird because me with Bungie, I played Halo 1, 2, 3, Reach, ODST. I played Halo 1 multiplayer and single player a bunch. I played Halo 2 multiplayer and single player a bunch. Halo 3, I only played the multiplayer because the story for 3 sucks. That's beside the point. But I got so much enjoyment out of that multiplayer. There was so much to do. You could create your own matches. When you're having it's not horde mode. I'm thinking of Gears of War, but where you're fighting up against all these enemies. You can set impossible odds where these freaking grunts are shooting rockets at you, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
There's just so much you can do, and then when you go from that to what you have now, where you basically have only 4 modes, 5 modes if you're lucky on that day, where you have free for all, where it's just you versus 5 other people, control. What is it? 3 versus 3, where you can revive people, and I forget the last one. It doesn't matter.
Or yeah, I mean, there's skirmish, which is the one where you can revive each other.
Mm-hmm.
There is what is the name of the last one? Because you actually have to go to points and pick something up, but it's 3v3.
Yeah, but that's a 5th one. That's
yeah.
That's
Is that salvage?
Salvage. Yeah.
That's salvage.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember what the 4th one is. Oh, it's just 6 versus 6 people.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Rumble, you mean? Yeah.
All that is cool, but at a certain point, when you're going through this, you're just like, I'm doing the same exact thing over and over again. And the only reason I'm doing this is so that I can get the 100 Crucible marks for the week, so that I can buy either equipment or so that I can be completely lazy and just buy a whole bunch of Spirit Blooms, because I hate going to Venus to get Spirit Bloom.
Amen.
Yes.
And that's what it's become. That's one of the big things with Crucible. It's just not a fun situation to go into. And the only reason a lot of people do it is so that they can buff up their character for the single player mode. It has
Right.
nothing to do with you can't even play with your own. Like, let's say you get 6 people. You can't play the 3 versus 3 mode.
Mhm.
You can't. You can
Right.
play the 6 versus 6 mode, where the 6 of you go up against 6 other people. But you can't play the 3 versus 3 mode.
Right.
And sometimes I don't want to be playing random people out there. I want to be playing against my own friends.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And then on top of that, the Crucible bounties. I've never had there. I would rather do exotic bounties than do the Crucible bounties, because some of them are absolutely dumb. You're a warlock while using flare, while you are balancing on a ball with a spoon stuck on your nose. And then you look at the single player bounty, recite the Pledge of Allegiance once, and you get 500 experience points. And you're just like, what am I going to spend my time doing? The Pledge of Allegiance or this stupid ass bounty over here that's only going to give me 50 points?
Right. Right.
So, I mean, they have to balance out the bounties as well. And then even worse, you have a mode called the Iron Banner.
Oh, man.
Iron Banner is what Crucible should have been from the beginning.
Absolutely.
If you're going
Right.
to have your abilities translate into multiplayer.
Right.
Multiplayer as it is completely and destructively unfair. It is so you cannot go in there when you just start off, when you're like level 3 or 4, and you don't even have access to a super yet, and you all of a sudden get destroyed. Titan Smash, Hunters, Blade Dancer, Warlock, Void Bomb, and you're just like, I can't do that yet.
Right. Yeah. You definitely
Right.
can't go into the into the Crucible from the start. Like you definitely just getting a special, unless we're gonna get into hunters. If you're a hunter and you have Blade Dance, you are in a much better position. Or sorry, if you have Arc Blade, you are in a much better position than anybody else.
Yes.
We had a guy. He's my friend, but so he was leveling up a hunter. He was level 4 when he came with us. He was getting destroyed. Okay, he didn't know how to use Arc Blade yet. When he finally starts using Arc Blade, he went from being on the bottom of the list to like 1 or 2 every game with a high
Every
KD.
game.
Every
Every game.
Yep.
Yeah, like just off of Blade Dance, like he was getting like destroyed in the Crucible, and then he popped Blade Dance, and his like KD would just fly. Like that was happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's just there's no reason for that. And I think Bungie knows it,
Right.
And the best thing that they, this is going to sound so weird. The best thing Bungie can do is to remove the class system and the weapon system from single player from the multiplayer completely. There's if you want to have a type of super, just have a certain only two or the supers that you can choose them from the beginning of the match, and then choose a certain type of weapon sets. But the way it is now, all those abilities, I've never seen a multiplayer game where all the abilities from your armor and your weapons can just completely outrank anybody. Anybody in the game. You could have a level 32 getting demolished by a 19 who has all these weird stats, like if you breathe, you take 5 damage,
Yeah.
and you're looking at you take another 10 damage, and you just look at your life and you're like, how is this happening?
Yeah, and I think that goes back to what you were saying about about the Iron Banner should be multiplayer, period. Like it should not be like this thing that happens every once in a while. And it's not like Bungie would have had to come up with a brand new system to do this. Like they could, you know what? Bungie can keep classes, they can keep levels, they can even keep like leveled up like guns and stuff like that. But what they would have to put in place are tiers, PvP tiers. Like this is not new. This is not new. You know, levels, 1 through 5, one tier. 5 through 10, another tier. Then 10 through 20, and 22 like, let's say 25 or 28, and then like, you have the last few tiers with the highest level players. And the the goal will be to get to the highest tier, because the highest tier would give you better weapons,
right,
and stuff like that, which is something I didn't even write down in my notes here. The fact that this shit is completely random. How many times have you seen somebody do completely terrible in a match and then they get a legendary? I saw the guy today. He had a .15 KD. Okay, 0 assists, 0 captures. He got a Soros regime exotic.
What?
Yes.
Oh no.
Dude, like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. And that's part of the problem. Like, they really, you're right. Like, I don't think they really they didn't put enough thought into the multiplayer. Because the way to go would have been to make it so that the way Iron Banner works, that's the Crucible all the time. Levels matter, armors matter, weapons matter, but break them into tiers. But they might have been too afraid, or they might have been worried about not having enough player in specific tiers. That could have been an issue, but it definitely still doesn't mean it's not the way to go.
But here's the counter argument to that last point that you made. I guarantee you, if they had put more thought into multiplayer, there'd be way more people playing multiplayer now than there are right as it is right now. Right.
And that's probably true.
When you have an attractive product that is fun and just engaging, and it's just begging you to play, people will play. I mean, how many years did people spend on Halo 3 multiplayer just because it was so freaking amazing?
Right.
I mean, it was so good that ODST was like, here's the Halo 3 multiplayer disc. Have fun with that. We already sold it to you, but hey, you might want it again.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, like, you're right. I mean, if they did almost make 2 games, or I should say have 2 different teams handling... They might have had 2 different teams handling the multiplayer and the single player, but sure doesn't feel like it.
I guarantee you they had a team per planet and a team per activity. There were about 20 teams working on this game, and which is sad, because going to single player for a moment, when you look at Earth, you see how developed it is, and it's so sad that your end game most of the time you'll be spending on Earth. Public events, I ain't got time to be going to Mars. Screw Mars.
Yeah, nobody wants to go to Mars.
Screw Venus. I'll probably do Moon, because the Moon is very tiny. But if I got to do public events, I'm probably going to Earth or Moon. I ain't going to Mars. Screw Mars. Nobody wants to go to Mars, and that's terrible.
Yeah, I think it's bad that you expect to get progression, right? So we fought the Fallen on Earth, we fought the Hive on the Moon, we fought the Vex on Venus, and then you get to Mars and you fight the Cabal, and then you go back to fighting the Vex.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels kind of backwards. The Cabal were a fucking joke.
Yeah, which is sad because there's just so much that I could see them doing with the Cabal. Because they talk about the Cabal being the ultimate baddest motherfuckers on the planet.
Yeah, you get there, there's a huge disappointment. Or he said, they blow up moons just for getting in their way. I'm like,
exactly.
And then you fight them, it's like, oh, these guys are chumps.
Until you get to Valis and you realize how much of a bullet sponge he is.
Oh, dude, do you like? Oh yeah, Valis he is a bullet sponge, but he's the only one.
Right.
That's the thing. But yeah, like it does really feel like now you brought up some good points, some things I didn't really think about before, and it does kind of seem like it's almost an afterthought, and you can definitely tell there's a lot of people who kind of hop in the Crucible by themselves. Because it's actually, you can tell when people are playing together.
Yeah, especially when they're doing skirmish.
Especially when they're doing skirmish. Like
oh God!
And you get a lot of solo players. Actually, that's something I'm gonna get into a little bit later, talking about the communication. But as it stands, besides the lag, there's also an issue with the weapons. Now, if they actually implemented the systems that we talked about, like where Iron Banner mattered and they had tiers and stuff like that, the weapons probably wouldn't be as big of a deal, because you know what happens when your armor matters and your class and your weapon? That means that a hunter is not going to take as much damage as a Titan, or isn't going to have that's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with PvP, like when your class actually matters, because
right.
Hunters don't have the same armor that Titans do in single player, which is why Hunters get tossed in single player or in campaigns. Like, you actually have to watch out. But in regards to the Crucible, it's like, you could, unless it's the Iron Banner specifically, you do, as a Titan, you can take as much damage. Sorry, as a Hunter, you can take as much damage as a Titan, and that becomes a problem in itself, which I'm going to get into. I just chose Hunters because they have the weakest armor. I believe out of everybody, they have the weakest armor.
I thought that was the Warlocks. I thought the Warlocks were the weakest, but they have the highest recovery. Hunters have medium armor, but they have the fastest speed, and Titans have the most armor.
That may be the case. I just remember playing with my Warlock through single, and I didn't take nearly the same amount of damage that I'm taking with my Hunter.
Well, it's also another thing that you need to take into account. Not just, as if the armor and the weapons abilities weren't enough. You go to your trainings, like arcane training of, I don't know, wisdom. We'll just say wisdom, power, and courage. We'll just go there.
Right. Yeah.
But like each one will have specific things that'll give you a certain advantage. Like
you'll get more. So that might have been the case. I might be playing it a bit differently.
Right.
But one of the big problems that I'm running into the Crucible, that's a lot of bullshit, are PvE weapons coming in unchecked to PvP.
Soros.
Yeah, specifically, like everybody,
the
fucking Soros regime, the Thorn, the Vex Mythocast, like, just to name a few. Those weapons in PvE, I can see them being awesome weapons and great weapons to help you out. But those weapons alone are not going to overpower enemies and bosses. Okay,
yeah.
But they're gonna help you out. In PvP, they're too much, dude. Like the Vex Mythocast, actually, most people, it's funny. Most people I see with the Vex Mythocast have bad aim. Okay? They have bad aim, but it really only takes 2 shots to kill you with the Vex Mythocast.
Well, the problem, too, with the Vex Mythocast is that it has very low stability.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you just see, and it just keeps, the shot keeps going upwards.
Yeah. But I'll see like 4 or 5 shots pass by me, and I'll be hitting the target the whole time, because let's say I have a gun now. I have for the people. Mm-hmm. It has a high fire rate, and the perk is that the longer I fire, the more accurate it becomes. So that's pretty big. That's pretty big. But the balanced out part of it is it has low impact. So
Right.
if somebody's charging a fusion rifle, or if somebody's aiming at me, I'm not going to be able to break that aim.
You're the second you hear, you're gonna die
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I have to I have to be hitting like their head on point from start to finish in order to take that out because
from a distance.
yeah, from a distance because most of my kills with that gun are ones where I have been drilling this person from start to finish. Like I'll kill them right before their fusion rifle's getting ready to fire.
Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of fusion rifles, there are some fusion rifles I've seen. Like I think the Light Beware, that shit has a very long range and only takes like a second, maybe a second and a half to charge. And that's a huge problem in the Crucible. In PvE, it's probably fucking awesome. You know what I'm saying? It's awesome for your group. Everybody's glad you have it. But in fucking PvP, it is too much. The Thorn, the Thorn itself, like, first of all, 2 shots, sorry, not 2 shots from the Thorn, but maybe 2, 3 shots from the Thorn, you're dead. And the thing is, when you get hit with the Thorn...
And if you run away.
Yeah, if you run away, yes.
Even if you run away.
Even if you run away, yeah. But the thing is, like, 1 shot from the Thorn, it poisons you. Like, you have to leave that fight. You either have to leave the fight. Like, if you don't kill the person within a second or two, like, after you get hit, you know, if they don't kill you beforehand, you might as well just sit down and die. Because
right.
they're going to get you. Or, you know, somebody else is going to come behind you and get you. Like, basically, the Thorn puts you into a place where it's like, as soon as you get hit, like, it's a huge roadblock. It's a huge roadblock. And for an arena shooter, because that's what Destiny is, that's unfair, and it takes, you know, some of the fun away from the game. It definitely, you know, in the Crucible, maybe it should be something like, you know, every shot has a percentage chance of poisoning, you know, poisoning a Guardian. Like, that's what I think the Crucible needs. Like, your weapons should have perks for fighting against the minions of darkness, and then perks for when you're fighting against, you know, Guardians of the Light. You know? It does this against darkness, it does this against light.
See, here's the thing, though. There's already evidence of that. For example, if I were to have Helm of Saint 14, which is a Titan exotic helmet, anytime a minion of darkness goes through the shield, they'll be blinded. Problem is that doesn't work out in PvP.
Yeah.
So they already have that ability to do that. I mean, they already have the ability to know whether or not you're hitting a hive from behind.
Yeah.
So they have markers for everything, whether it's a hive of a certain kind, if you're hitting them in the head and the back, if you're looking at them the wrong way. Hell, you can and I don't know if you've known this. You can point at Crota. Do the little go-to energy points at Crota. He'll point back at you.
Oh, really? I never noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, there are things that are in the game that you're just like, Bungie took a lot of time thinking about this stuff. And then you see stuff like this where you're just like, but they didn't think about that.
Right.
So that's why I go back to the original argument of, if you're going to have, there really are 2 versions of multiplayer. It's kind of like, I want to say I know Street Fighter has where you can where you have the regular versus mode where you versus somebody else, and then you have the versus mode where you're sacrificing experience points, but you can go up levels or whatever, something like that. Where your level will go down or up based on what you're doing there, and they kind of need to do that with Destiny, where like there's a multiplayer mode that has that you can't bring your PvE PvE weapons or armor into the multiplayer. You can select from a loadout, and that'll be your loadout for multiplayer. And you can choose from a specific set of Crucible weapons, and that'll be your loadout. And then you have your Iron Banner, where you bring all that stuff in, and you bring all that experience in, and it just doesn't make sense why you have a level meter for PvE that affects your PvP when your PvP is completely different, and it just doesn't jive with the rest of the system. That's why I keep going back and saying it just reminds me of that little Pokemon mini game where you're building up this character for PvE.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. I think like, like, another problem with the PVE weapons, like bringing those in, is, and this is going to lead into the next point. Okay, this is going to lead into the next point. Um, the fact that the Vex Mythicast, you can only get that by beating
Atheon
Atheon on hard mode.
Mhm.
Okay, the communication in this game was so nerfed
Mhm.
that it's hard to do that from inside the game. You would have to be so into this game to actually go out and look for, like, find ways to find groups. Like, there's sites that allow you to do it. None by Bungie. Like, it's not you can go to Bungie.net and find a group to take down Atheon. You can't do it. And then if you like on either PS4 or on Xbox, if you want to find a group, like, if you want to try to go to the tower and find people to go into a raid with you need 6 people. You'd have to send different people messages. You can be there for a long time trying to get a group of 6 together.
Yeah, there really should be a global chat
Yeah,
option.
and then on
And
top of
I don't
that,
even play what is it, massively multiplayer online games.
yeah,
But
MMOs,
I just know that, hey, that global chat right there should be right there, so that it's like, I'm doing Atheon on hard. Who wants to join? And then
yeah,
just people sending, because the tower is where you're supposed to go to. The tower is the weirdest thing about the game, because you're supposed to be interacting with people,
yeah. You don't
and
like,
I've never seen anything where you're passing by people. It's like going to the mall where you're passing by all these people, and those people are looking at you weird. You're
yeah,
like, get the F out of Dodge.
yeah. It's like it's supposed to be this game about teamwork and co-op and all this stuff, but if you don't have enough friends, you're not gonna be able to do a lot of this stuff. Like I said, my first time raiding was last week.
Hmm.
You know, same thing with Sage. And that's because you need 6 people. Like me and Sage have been playing, and some people will drop in and drop out. But now we have a group of actually more than 6 people. But that, like to get 6 people in a game where communication is so nerfed is very, very difficult, and it's not fair that the Vex Mythicast gets to come into the Crucible when it's not. It's hard for play. It can be very hard for a player to get that. Not just because it's a difficult gun to get because you fight Atheon on hard mode, but for the simple fact that you can't even get 6 people to go in with you.
Yeah. The very first time I ever did Vault of Glass, I went to the Waking Ruins. I don't even remember why, and there were 5 people there, and I was just killing Praetorians, and they were like, "Someone so sent you an invite." I'm like, "I got lucky. I can finally do this."
Yeah, yeah, and
But
that's the thing. Yeah,
it should never be like that, where you have to go to an area and you're just hoping and praying to be able to play the game. And it's sad too, because when you're looking at it, Bungie acknowledged Destiny LFG. They openly acknowledged it, and they were like, what made you guys want to do this? Because you didn't do it.
yeah, yeah. It's like it's hard to understand that they wouldn't see a need for it. Like, how could you not see a need for like a looking for group?
Right.
And there's a couple. I know there's Destiny Tracker does one, Destiny LFG. Um, but like I don't know, like how does that thought not pass to you? You
I
know?
guess it's because this is my honest opinion. My honest opinion is I'm sorry, Bungie thought that people were going to use their app for everything.
But
Either Destiny thought Destiny. I keep saying Destiny like it's some sort of god. But either Bungie thought that, or Activision went up to them and was like, "We want to create a global platform for the world to share their ideas, so that people can access a forum on their mobile device." And people were just like, "You being serious, right?" So like, the app, even though it's functional and yeah, you can join clans, and it's so annoying to see that little message box where everybody keeps saying, looking for group to do so and so. and you just see the way it's presented is just messages.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's very very cumbersome, and sometimes you don't even know what you're getting into. That's not to say that Destiny LFG is any better,
Right.
but at least through there you have the option of like, okay, I'll send you a party invite using the PlayStation chat. We'll go ahead and talk for a little bit. That way we can see what's going on here. And if I feel like it, we'll go ahead and do the raid. Oh, you're jumping on. You're over here and trying to knife a Praetorian. Yeah, I'm bouncing.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no reason for you to be knifing a Praetorian when he has full on shield. You need to get out of dodge. So I mean, it's weird. It's very cumbersome using that app, and there's just no way to. At least from Bungie, anyway. There's no way from Bungie to actively engage these people. These people, you want, if this is supposed to be a massively multiplayer online game, which it basically is, it really is. You want to be able to communicate with as many people as you want about anything. And I know it's a very tough thing, especially with people where like 5 seconds in, you suck, you got a tiny dick. And you're like, what?
Right.
But there has to be a way where you can communicate with all these people in some way, shape, or form, offered by you. It's up to you as a game developer to think of, okay, we have a problem here. People need to communicate, but we don't want them to be stuck in troll situations. How do we go about that? Very simple. Press so-and-so button. Group chat, global chat is off. Local chat is enabled so that you're only talking to the people around you. I'm just thinking this out of the top of my head. People start being trolls. You block them. Bing, bang, boom. You don't have to worry about them. The other people are still around you. You're talking to them. They start joining your group. You're doing public events. Oh, hey, did you guys do the raid this week? Yo, let's go ahead and do the raid. Bing, bang, boom. You're doing the raid. And that was like I just rolled that off at the top of my head. I'm thinking of ways you can do like set up a raid just by doing normal things in Destiny in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, first of all, you should have the option to either by default have global chat on or have it off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you go in the Crucible, do you want to talk to people or do you not? You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, there's a lot of people who don't talk on mics, but they'll at least listen. You know what I'm saying? But you should also have the opportunity to, like, you know, when you press the the button that shows you the everybody in the match, to mute them. That's how all the other games do it.
Hell, Halo did that from back in Jump Street. Halo 2.
That's how all the other games do it. And the communication thing is totally like Bungie's fault. Like, and it's ruining not just making groups and going into raids, but it's ruining the Crucible as well. Because you can go into a match, and, you know, now since players, because I know they added the team chat now, but nobody uses it. Usually what happens when I go into a match, either nobody switches into that team chat, so why should I? Or like one person switches into team chat, so why should I? You know, that's the thing. Like, I'm in party chat, but like, you know, so what happens is because nobody's communicating with each other, and I've been noticing this more and more frequently, is that everybody goes into this, you know, this self-preservation mode, or they start camping. I played a clash match on Blind Watch on Saturday, and dude, nobody from either side was moving. Like, everybody was camping, and I kept dying because I'm running around trying to get people, but they just get the jump on me. So it's kind of like, well, now I have to stop moving, and you're sitting there waiting in an arena shooter. In an arena shooter, you're sitting there waiting for somebody to move, like it's Counter-Strike.
Yeah,
it's almost like you're just waiting. You're just waiting them out.
The best is when you're in an anomaly in a free for all. So that's the one in the moon that has the. It's not a cube. It's a multi whatever.
Something in the middle, yeah.
Right in the middle, and you just everybody's. It's a tiny map already, but you already have people just staying there. Like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's like, I can see you. You got your scopes on me. You're not even shooting. You're like, take one step and I'll fire. And the reason they're doing that is just because if they know if they fire, they'll alert people next to them who probably have shotguns who'll run up to them and just take them out.
Right, yeah.
So it's a very weird dichotomy that you got going on. And I'm not sure how you fix it at this point in time.
Well,
You have to completely modify everybody's settings so that you have the global chat automatically enabled.
right.
Because the way it's set up too is it's very weird. The main setting is when you go into options, you have the option to either turn it. It'll ask you whether when you go into a match, it's automatically off. You're
Yeah.
in fire team mode only. So then you have to go to switch to team mode. A lot of people, when they start a match, they don't want to be messing around with that. They want to get to their positions.
Yeah, exactly.
So the fact that you have to change that in mid-match is strike number one.
Right.
Strike number two, you have the option to have it automatically set to team. But so few people use it that you're just like, hello, hello.
Yeah, so you're talking to yourself.
I mean, there was this one time somebody had the team thing activated, and I guarantee you he thought nobody was listening to him. He was singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer to his little daughter, and I'm over here laughing the whole time because I'm just like, we're winning big time, and this fool over here is singing Rudolph the. He changed some of the words, by the way.
Oh yeah.
He's over here singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer while running around with a shotgun. It's hilarious. It's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And I'm like, yo, and all you see is like his name just like pow 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 pow. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, like that's like, and I blame Bungie for like Bungie. That needs to be the default, and if you want it off, then turn it off, because now nobody uses it and nobody communicates. And I think that's part of the problem with the self-preservation. Like you could be on a team of 6 people and it feels like you're by yourself. Like when I was playing earlier today, because of what happened this weekend, I had so many bad games. I'm like, dude, I'm not even trying to get control points anymore. I'm not hopping on a control point until there's at least 2 people on it.
Right.
As what I said, because like it was other than that, like, nobody's working together. Everybody's kind of playing independent.
Right.
Sometimes you do get that group that'll roll around together.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, cavemen knocking rocks together and throwing sticks because like you have no other form of communication. The only form of communication I've gotten from anybody else in the game besides who was in my party chat was a dude teabagged me once he killed me. I clearly knew what he was doing when he did it. That was the most clear form of communication I've gotten in weeks from a nonverbal communication from another player.
See, but here's the thing. Ever since fusion rifles came into play, you can't really do the teabag. You're doing stripper pole action.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I'm stripper pole action on your dead ghost. What's up, baby?
Yeah. Yeah, so like that's the thing. I blame Bungie for nerfing the communication as poor as much as they did when they first started. Like I know they want the game to be welcoming, and they're like and there are a lot of people out there that they're trolls. They'll troll. They'll be mean, angry. I know that it's in a lot of cases, if the mic was open when I was talking, I would be severely degrading people when they're doing stupid shit. But you know what? They should have the right to report me. They should be able to, mute me. If they don't want to hear me say that they suck balls. That should be their right. It shouldn't just be off because we're just gonna cut it off, and that ruins the game. Like, I think people will be more willing, because especially when you're playing an objective-based game like Control Point. If people say, if you guys have a goal, like, we're getting C, we're getting A. Okay, this many of us are at B. I'm here with so-and-so. Let's get B. You're more willing to take a death if it means that you're going to get the Control Point. But there's so many times when I have taken a death thinking that it was going to help out. I was like, okay, well, at least I killed the guy, only to find out that nobody stuck around for the Control Point.
Yeah, that's why I rarely play Control. Unless it's an actual bounty, I'm never playing Control.
Yeah.
There's 2 things I do. If it's a bounty, or if I have an actual group that for some reason we went in there and we were like, hey, we need to get however many kills with void weapons to get his exotic, that's when I'll roll into Control. Otherwise, I'm out of dodge. I'm in what is it, the
Clash?
3 versus 3?
Oh, skirmish?
Yeah, I love skirmish. I mean, I don't know if you saw the video I put up where we destroyed somebody 5,000 to 300.
It was probably us.
Damn.
No,
we hate skirmish.
Oh,
Yeah, we
I
hate
love
that shit,
skirmishes.
man.
I was like, I got a 15 kill death streak. I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
dude. Every
yes.
time we play skirmish, like we're playing like multiple hunters, which we'll get into that in a minute.
I don't
Oh
even
yeah.
use supers.
Right.
It's so weird. It is a game where I forget their supers, and that's bad because I'm a hunter and I should be using them.
Yeah,
But I'm over here like, I got a fusion rifle. Frah! You got a fusion rifle.
That's another
Frah!
problem. The fusion rifles is another problem.
and they
With the
just
way they
became a
do it.
problem recently. But
Yeah,
go ahead,
exactly.
Sage. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean I'm just saying like the distance that you can use a fusion rifle at is ridiculous, and it's not consistent. That's the worst part. Like sometimes, even when I use mine, sometimes I'm like, that shouldn't have killed him in one shot. I was too far away.
See, I'm gonna challenge you. I'm gonna challenge you on this because I disagree, but I understand why you're frustrated. Fusion rifles are the most complex weapon in the game because it is a mix of shotgun and just really quick auto rifle. And the reason I
Right.
say that is this. If you try to use the new raid weapon from Crota's End, there's a fusion rifle called Light of the Abyss. It has an insane.
Fuck that gun.
It has
Oh.
here's the thing. It has an insanely fast charge rate, which means just but the problem is it has no impact. So in order to properly use it, you have to be at somewhat a moderate range. You have to be rather close, but not too, because of the way a fusion rifle is. You can't be too close. So if I were to use the solar version of Murmur, which has an insanely high amount of impact, I can be at a
Right.
further distance and just plow. Problem is, the charge rate is a lot slower, so you.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, that's
Thing is, if you're in a smaller arena, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
no, my
If
bad.
you're
I
in a
cut you
s-
off.
If you're in a smaller arena, Light of the Abyss will destroy you. If you're in a larger arena, Murmur will destroy you. The solar version, because that's a weird gun. The ARC version has different stats than the solar version.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Right.
So it's a combination of looking at where you're getting killed from and what type of gun they're using.
I mean that would be
I completely understand because there's some times where you're just like, I got killed so far away and I am mad. I'm not playing this game anymore. Oh wait, I'm alive again. Let's play.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I just wish there was some type of consistency with it. Like that's my biggest problem with if I'm using the same gun as somebody else and I do the same exact thing that they do and it takes away half their power and they get me in one shot, that's frustrating for me. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're on this, I mean, I think that's the biggest problem with the game as it is. It's just the balance. And I also think I think the game got too big for Bungie. I think they had so many ideas and they wanted to make this vast, like deep game and they ran out of time and they were on a deadline. I think that's why I have a lot of hope. Like if, whenever Destiny 2 does come out, because if they take advantage and learn from everything they did with this, it could be an incredible game. Not that this one isn't good, but it's just so many holes that keep it from being enjoyable 100% of the time.
Here's the
You know what I'm
thing.
saying?
Two things on what you just said. Number one, I don't think you got to wait for Destiny 2. Honestly, if this is exactly what it is called, you just got to. It sucks that I'm saying it like this. You got to wait for the Comet expansion to get what you're looking for.
Oh yes, yeah, definitely. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Once I saw like the info on that,
Right.
I was like, that's what we need right now.
Right. I honestly believe when the Comet expansion comes, all this stuff that Bungie's been basically the first release of Bungie is another version of its beta.
Right.
And I truly believe that because there's just no way that you can change the production 9 months before the release of a game and expect it to be flawless. That's pretty much what happened. They completely changed the story, which means that they completely took out stuff that was supposed to be in there, which means that everything changed and stuff couldn't be balanced right on time. So
Right.
I honestly believe that this to Activision and Bungie is just one giant beta for the big release of Comet in the fall when they're going to finally iron out everything. And I guarantee you there's going to be new modes for multiplayer. And I'm not just talking about arenas. I'm talking about they're going to completely overhaul that bastard.
Right.
It would not feel right to call it a real, these, what is it? The House of Wolves and the Dark Below, these aren't expansions. These are really DLCs. The real expansion is that Comet expansion.
And it
Which
better
I
be $20.
What's that?
That's what I was going to say.
It better be $20.
They better not rape
Look,
us on the price for that.
I wouldn't even charge for that. And I know it sounds crazy, but you have so much ill will right now with your fans, and they're staying around, which is weird. But given how many months they have to wait from House of Wolves, which comes out in March, to basically September or October, when the Comet expansion comes, that's 6 months. That's a giant chunk of time. And it's already big enough that we have to wait from December to March for the second part of stuff that should have already been on the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To wait another 6 months for stuff like that, I don't know. I can honestly see Activision saying, "Look, we're just going to give this part away for free, but we're going to have more a whole bunch of more maps that you can download, and you don't have to purchase it. The main game is the same, but these extra maps for multiplayer, hey, $15, you get, I don't know, 6 extra maps and stuff that you wouldn't have gotten. And most people would probably pay that $15 anyway. But I just don't see any way that you can make people wait 6 months and expect them to drop another $20 for that expansion.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, because we at this point, like, if you get both expansions, you're paying between, depending on if you got, the bundle or not, you're paying between $95 to $100 for this game already. Then if they want to come out in September and say it's another $40, fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck them. I'm done. Like, I can't. I'm done. I mean, I love playing this game with, the people I play it with, but we can play other shit, dude.
Right.
That's the thing. And it's a weird feeling because, like I said, normally I would not be playing this game. Like, I have never bought a Call of Duty DLC before because I just thought it wasn't worth it. But this game relies solely on the people you play it with.
Yes.
And that's what makes the experience so crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, because if Sage wasn't playing, if my other friends weren't playing, I would have stopped playing a long time ago.
I mean, like, you got me into the game. Like, I bought it just off, hype alone. Like, I was like, oh, Destiny, like, let me try it. And then I played it for a little bit, and I was like, I just thought it was just whatever. And then you got it and told me to get on, and I was hooked after that. And that's the thing, like, the game plays so well. It's so much potential in it, and I think that's what keeps you around. I think it's the potential of the game that keeps you engaged in wanting to play, even with all the flaws that it has.
Yeah.
I honestly believe it's, don't get me wrong, the potential is gigantic. It's the experience that you have with with the people that you play.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing funnier than watching when you're going through the Crota's End raid that some guy stood too close to that exploding lamp, and you see his body doing a cartwheel directly in front of you, and you just get launched, and you're just like, looks like we have to turn around and resurrect your dumbass.
Yeah.
I mean, this game has so many situations where it's just hilarious and it's awesome. And when you get that moment where you kill Crota without any it was the first time where you didn't do it without any glitches or whatever, and you're just like, yes, and you're with those people. It's cool. And the sad thing is, you never get that experience in the multiplayer mode. You never get that moment where you're just like, yes, like, bam, like, got it.
Right.
Like, there's nothing there. Like the only time I ever have that feeling when I'm in multiplayer mode is all of a sudden I get some random exotic, even though I did shit bad.
Right.
It's like, oh, I got a Mida multi-tool. Woohoo! It sucks, but I got an exotic and you guys didn't, so screw you.
Well, I had a moment in multiplayer where I was like, yes, and I had to document it when I right hooked a hunter right in the mouth after as the blade dance. That was probably my proudest moment in the Crucible.
You know what? I think we need to talk about the supers, because if I'm not mistaken, that was the biggest reason why we started this podcast today.
Yes, we are going to talk about the supers.
Yes.
And primarily the hunter. The hunter class in PvP. In PvE, I think the hunter class is balanced. Actually, I think in terms of PvE, the game itself is balanced. It's balanced, okay? But minus some of the bugs and stuff like that we deal with.
Right.
But the hunter class is too OP for the Crucible, okay? Let's talk about like the supers. Like you said, everybody's super is a death sentence for anybody in the area, okay? If you get hit with the Titan super,
which is hilarious.
Yeah, you're done. Okay, you get hit with the Warlock super, you're done. Even though you can pluck a Warlock out of the air if you're good enough. Okay, you can pluck a Warlock out of the air, not easily. It is difficult to do.
Yes.
Okay, so if you do it, it is an accomplishment. Good for you. Okay, so you can pluck a Warlock out of the air and kill him. But if you are anywhere near where that shit flies, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is very rare to be able to escape a hunter melee. Oh, sorry, not a hunter melee, but a hunter special. Not hunter special. Like goddamn, a Titan special or a Warlock like Nova Bomb. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now another thing is that the Titans have one offensive special. They have one defensive special.
Right.
Warlocks have an offensive special and Nova Bomb, but you know, their defensive like not defensive. It's not defensive, but you know, Sunsinger is pretty much just your abilities charged pretty quickly. So that means you get it, but you know.
But here's the thing: it can be defensive because when you're doing the Song of Flame and you give everybody the ability to get their melee attack back.
That is true. If you do the group buff, you can do that. So you can either do that and do like
it's
group
more
buff.
It's more of a support. That's,
yeah, you're right. It is a support. It's more like a support.
I didn't mean to interrupt it because I have something to jump on that too, so go ahead.
Oh, you're right. You have a support class, but even if you're using it offensively, like if you die in the Crucible, you resurrect, you can still die. One of my and I'm a Warlock, and one of my favorite things to do is to kill a Warlock right after he resurrects.
Yeah,
he'll resurrect. I'll let him Hulk out, and as soon as he comes down and he's able to be killed, I fuck him up. Like that's one of my favorite things to do in that game because his ass should have stayed down. Don't disrespect me by coming back to life in front of me.
One of the best things I do, one of the funniest things I do, is when I'm PV3, where I take some guy down, and I know that somebody's close to him to resurrect him, so I pull out my sniper rifle, resurrects him, Fah! So then he keeps resurrecting him, and he's like, Fra! Thank you for just giving me 100 points each time. Go ahead. Fra! 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 It's like, I just completed my sniper bounty. Thank you.
Dude, I don't know. There's just something about the Warlock one, like the red self-resurrection, because they get up so brolic, like they're about to fuck you up. And then you can just take them, you can just tell them to sit the fuck down. Just sit the fuck down. Because even when they throw their grenades at you, they gotta hit you with it. You know what I'm saying? You could fly around and, you know, you could really put them back down in their place. It's a little bit harder if they use the buff that gives them more armor during Radiance. But a lot of them don't use that. They'll just resurrect.
But old Gallahorn and be like, Fra.
Yeah, exactly.
Resurrect from that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, resurrect again, bitch. Like, yeah, so if you can't tell, I play Voidwalker in the Crucible. But here's the thing about Hunters. Mm-hmm. They have two offensive specials. Two very powerful offensive specials. They are the only class that when they pop their special, not only do you have to run away from them, you have to run away from them for for an extended period of time. Yes. It's not like, you know, the Titan where everybody dodges out of the way, and as soon as he's down, they fuck him up, you know, or like the Warlock, which is the same thing. Even Sunsinger. With Sunsinger, all you have to do is just wait for him to stop flexing, and as soon as he comes down, you lay him out. You know? But like you can't, like, dude, if somebody pops Blade Dancer in the middle of the group, that group's gonna die probably. Yeah, that group has like a 90% chance of dying.
Yes.
Okay? Not only that, with Blade Dancer, you have the perk that every time you successfully kill somebody, not Blade Dancer, but Arc Blade, every time you kill somebody with Arc Blade, it extends the Arc Blade.
Yeah.
So people pop. I've had people pop Arc Blade and then come around the corner, kill everybody, run through, still have Arc Blade. You know, just run around a map doing that. I have seen people just rack up kills, like 5, 6 kills, just
Five
like
kill streaks, easy.
easy. And the thing about Blade, I keep on calling Blade Dance, but Arc Blade, it's not like you actually have to. It's not like you're still in first person and you have to aim your hits. You just tap R1.
And it automatically homes in on
It
the
automatically
next
homes in. And I have had situations where people, I could tell that's what all people are used to doing, because I'll be just out of range of the homing thing, and I'll see them tapping R1 and literally going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, trying to home in, and then they realize they're out too far, and by the time I've killed them. That's like one of the really only times I've killed a Blade Dancer. But most of the time, if they're moving in your general direction, you're dead. And now on top of that, like even if you're flying in the air, it is they can jump up and still hit you, and that can last for like 20, 30 seconds. Yeah, that's ridiculous. They can complete, like as soon as you hear it, you have no option but to completely run away from them. It'll be different if they popped it and they had it, but their armor didn't change, and that doesn't happen. Like, dude, I've had dudes doing arc blades, like in Shores of Time at A site, and there's like to the left, there's that entrance. So
yes.
I had a blade dancer come into the look in the door, see me, look dead at me, pop arc blade when he saw me, and I'm not just sitting there in awe. I'm fucking shooting at him. Okay, so I'm shooting at him, and he just fucking slides right up to me, and with he had maybe a quarter health left, kills me.
Yeah.
From that far away. That's ridiculous.
And not to mention, after he kills you, he gets his energy back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
that's a giant buff that I hate that so much.
Yeah. And then on the flip side of that, you have Golden Gun, which once you can use that buff to increase your accuracy. Whenever you aim, you can get any part of that other person's body inside that circle.
Yeah.
Lay them out.
That's
Lay them out.
That's it.
I took out your leg, but you're on fire. You're dead.
Exactly.
And it's almost like, in some cases, like I was wondering, like, do they even have to aim? Because on more than one occasion, somebody using Golden Gun will come around a corner and go bop bop bop, kill 3 people just like that, and you can't tell me that these people are that accurate and that fast on a console.
They're not.
Exactly.
And then even worse, you get those players that have a Killafate symbiote, the exotic helmet that gives them a 4th shot.
Oh, fuck that! I didn't even know about that.
You didn't know about that? Yeah.
No.
There's two helmets I have. A Killafate symbiote, which gives you a 4th Golden Gun shot. And then there's it's the arachnid or something like that has multiple eyes that lets you zoom sniper precise with a golden gun.
Oh man, fuck hunters. That's exactly what I'm talking about. In PvE, hunters there's a balance there. There's a balance there in PvE, and there is no balance there in PvP. Hunters probably hate fucking Iron Banner.
They have to.
No, I'm actually okay. The only thing I hate about Iron Banner is the plethora of players with Suros. All you hear is I'm like, these people don't have machine guns. That's damn Suros.
Yeah,
right.
It's either Suros or freaking Vex Smith class, and you're just seeing people get torched or people's heads exploding because they might as well put that birthday party perk from Halo, the headshot. Yay!
Yeah.
Left and right.
Oh, dude, like we were loving, like when the Iron Banner was here last, we were loving it, dude. We were killing the Iron Banner, and that's not even with any. Like I was using for the people. And we were doing because the class mattered, your armor mattered, your weapons mattered. Exactly. But yeah, like it's fucking like the hunters and regular Crucible, like, it's too powerful. Actually, me and Sage are rolling hunters now. Like we're leveling up hunters so we can go back to the Crucible.
Yeah,
that's so sad.
You know what kills me? The exotic armor. I will say this as a hunter, the exotic armors for hunters are way better for the VEP than it is for PvE.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying that, I already mentioned the arachnid where you can zoom. I already mentioned the fourth golden gun shot, which is ridiculous enough. There's a helmet. I forget the name of it, and I have it. I occasionally pull it out on my guy, where you get increased length with Blade Dancer, and I guarantee. The third eye something. Or basically,
Bungie, they are sucking the hunter's dick. Like, god damn.
yeah. Now here's my whole thing is the classes should have been balanced better. What I mean by that is, for example, you have the highly offensive Void Walker for Warlocks. Then you have the somewhat buff but at the same time offensive Sunsinger.
Yeah.
Titans, you have the Smash, and then you have the Defender.
Yeah.
Hunters is just straight up offense. There's no way if I'm doing PvP or PvE, there's no way for me to really help you out. I helped you out by killing everything around you.
Right.
Right.
Which is why Hunters in the new raid is amazing for that first part, because all I'm just doing is the spinning thing and killing all the thralls next to you.
Right.
Hold on, because you are like cutting out so much right now. We
Yeah.
can't even hear you. Like,
Yeah.
it was just getting worse and worse and worse.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It was like, yeah, you sound like a goddamn transformer.
I'm sorry.
I was like, I gotta stop it. I gotta stop it.
It was bad. It got bad.
Yeah.
All right, so they're like the Titan will put up of light, and he has a shotgun. I have Blade Dancer. I just run up on him and I'm slicing him, hitting him. I have to hit him 6 times because he has the armor of light, but I still can kill him.
Yeah.
Whereas he can't do much, and everybody that was in that shield is all of a sudden vulnerable because the Titan's dead and the bubble goes away.
Right.
So I definitely see where a hunter can have advantages in PvE. I'm sorry, PvP. What I will say this though is it is easier in some regards. I didn't say it's completely easy. I said it's just easier. It's easier to kill a hunter who has super activated than it is to kill, for example, a Titan who has their the striker activated. I've had many times where this Titan just runs up and is just ready to just like slam dunk on me like Shaq.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shotgun, no. Whereas if you were to do this, if you were to shoot a hunter 3 times with a shotgun while he has super, more than likely the second one it will kill him.
Dude, I have
not that that's a comfort to anybody else, but it for the most part it seems like hunters have less armor when they do their supers. It doesn't make it fair,
right?
Because there's no reason for a hunter to be looking at a warlock flying 10 feet in the air and is like, I can do that, just swiping through the place, zigzagging, like going around like Goku fighting Vegeta, and all of a sudden the hunter's like, no, slice.
Dude, like I have like the thing about like with Titans, like you can damage them because I've stopped more Titans doing Striker than I have Hunters and Blade Dance.
Same here.
Yeah, Titans like we have figured out, and I mean somebody may refute this, but there is a point during the special that you stop taking damage with both Hunter and goddamn I'll keep wanting to say Void Walker, but Warlock. Sorry. So with both, actually, I should just say with Void Walker and the Titan, at some point, if you do not kill them, like it's like almost like right before they do the move, you can't get them. Like for the Titan, like if they have their arms back while they're doing Striker, I have gotten a shot off then and stopped it. But if their arms are now in front of them, it's over. But it happens so fast, like it's like literally like a millisecond difference with the Titan. With the Warlock, it's a little different because they have to do their Ginyu Force pose and then they do it. So
right.
It's a little different. But yeah, with the Hunters, I mean, I have killed a Sunsinger more than I've killed a Blade Dancer. And I've had blade dancers like the thing about like with blade dance, if you slice, let's say, because I've had this happen where a blade dance will slice right in front of me, but miss me, and then I bam hit him with a shotgun. Even something like the invective, I'll bam shoot him with the shotgun, and it doesn't even take takes like a little less than a third of their health, like maybe a third of their health. That should have been a kill, at that close range, and that is bothersome. That is bothersome. The hunter, I believe, needs more balance. Like for blade dancer, I mean, I get it. I get blade dancers the shit. They want to usher, dance like Usher around the map. Cool, But that armor has got to go. That armor's got to go. And then the damn near, non-aiming of Golden Gun has got to go.
Mm-hmm.
If you see somebody with Golden Gun, you have to run the other way. You can't be like, okay, I'm gonna try to fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use my movement. I'm going to jump around. I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna try to make him miss. You cannot do that with Golden Gun most of the time. It's very rare, but most of the time, if somebody who shoots Golden Gun at me misses, I'm so shocked that they missed, I get killed. I'm so shocked that they missed that I actually get killed next. Like, oh my god. Oh my god, that's like Jesus watching Jesus walk on water. That's what that feels like. And it's like, dude, it just, they square up the next shot and then boom, I'm dead.
Yeah, it's over. And the thing about it is, like, you add in the lag with that too.
Yeah, you're right.
It's unstoppable. If somebody's, warping around the screen and then they pop Golden Gun, like, there's nothing you can do. It's a wrap. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about with hunters, and that's why, like, I think more people are catching on to it. I think because we would catch hunters, and hunters were always a problem, but there weren't that many of them. It was like you got a nice mix of warlocks, titans, and hunters.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're just seeing warlocks and hunters, dude. Like the titans are like going extinct.
Yeah,
I think when they last released the at the beginning it was like 34, 35, 31 or something like that. Like it was a pretty even balance. Now Titans make up about 23% of the total community, whereas hunters and warlocks are pretty much dead even.
Yeah, we'll talk to Sage about that. Like that was some depressing shit listening to him this weekend.
Yo, man, it was so sad, man, that I couldn't do anything. Like, no matter what, I changed my, my attributes with my striker, no matter what I was doing. Like, I mean, he saw me. I lined guys up, headshots. I was getting no damage. Like, I don't know what was going on with the game. I think it was just that one day, but it was like all my skills had like went on vacation. Like I was getting like 3-4 kills per match. Like it was bad, especially, like all there was, I was only going up against like warlocks and hunters. Like that's it. I was like the only Titan in like damn near the whole match. Like it was just bad. I mean, the only thing I could do to get a guaranteed kill was the ground pound special. Like that was it.
Now I will say this: there's nothing more satisfying than doing ground pound and realize that you just took 6 people's lives in one flash.
Oh, and that's another thing about the specials with the other classes other than the hunter. Like I feel like they're more strategic. You know what I'm saying? Like you can really set up some nice kills. Like if you catch like a bunch of guys in one zone and I come in ground pound, like I'm still vulnerable. Like I have to get to you to use that special. Like with the hunter, if you come in with the Golden Gun or you come in with the arc blade, like you just barely have to aim. And with arc blade, all you have to do is just mash the melee button. Like, but with every other special, I feel like there's a downside to it. Right. I don't feel like there's a downside like that. Like that can really be exposed with the hunter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I will say this: the hunter is the ultimate PvP machine. You put that sucker in PvE, you will almost never see a blade dancer fighting a boss, because that's just stupid.
Exactly.
Case in point, we were doing the Shrine of Oryx mission, and just for the hell of it, I decided to blade dance on Sardok, and I'm slashing his eye, and like my super ended. I was like, this is gonna end badly, and he just stomps on me. He just stomped, and all I see is the countdown. I'm like, yeah, that I will never do that ever again.
Yeah, and that's like I said, it's balanced in PvE, but for PvP, there's almost no reason to use another class. You know what I'm saying? Because like the kills that I get with Nova Bomb are great. But not only will I get more kills, like I'm guaranteed more kills if I pop fucking Blade Dancer, in a group. But then I can run around and just kill more people. Once Nova Bomb is hit, like I'm kind of done. Like I blow my load all in one shot. Yeah, I'm done. That's it. But with Blade Dances, that's the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh yeah.
I think the ultimate setup would be a hunter with either Suros or Vex Mythoclass.
We see it all the time.
You see it.
found verdict in his secondary for the shotgun with the auto shotgun, and either the Hunger of Crota or some other ridiculous machine gun as his heavy.
God.
Yeah,
and of course they have Blade Dancer, and just to be a jerk, they also have so that they can be invisible and pop right behind.
That shit. When I found out, I was like, this whole time, I'm trying to find out, like, what do you have to do to go invisible? What is the criteria?
You crouch.
You crouch. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like,
even worse. Because I've soloed the first part of Crota's End Raid multiple times.
Yeah.
I have it on my hunter that I can turn invisible 5 different ways.
Wow.
I didn't even get to that part yet.
There's obviously the crouch. There's the one where if you blink strike something, you turn invisible. I have gauntlets that if somebody melee attacks me, I turn invisible for a short amount of time.
Wow.
I have, what is it? The super where you can turn invisible, and I also have the one sniper rifle, Patience in Time, where if I'm aiming, I turn invisible.
Fuck that, yo! That is bullshit.
So I have 5 different ways of turning invisible.
That is so much bull. You're invisible while you're sniping? Get the fuck out of here, man.
That's like the Predator, man.
Yeah,
like
exactly. You just turned into the Predator.
The only reason I still have Patience in Time with my hunter is so I can solo the first part of the raid. It's hilarious. Just like, oh, okay. Hi, there's a whole bunch of thralls. I'm gonna knife one of them. Then I'm gonna run. And they can't do anything to me because they can't see me. Oh, I'm at another. I have to wait here for a second because I have Weight of Darkness. I'm just gonna crouch.
Yeah.
I'm completely cleansed. You know what? I'm gonna stand on top of the lantern before it explodes, and I'm just gonna crouch here until it does right before it explodes. So I turn invisible, and I can run to the other lantern.
Yeah.
Oh wait, there's no enemies around me. I can't crouch yet because it has to charge up. I'm just gonna pull out Patience in Time and just hold the sniper button down so I'm invisible till I'm cleansed. Then I'm gonna jump on top of the lantern. Then I'm gonna crouch. Then I'm gonna turn invisible, and then I'm gonna run to the other lantern.
Yeah.
So it's just constant invisibility, and it's just hilarious because there's also an ability on a hunter where you can double the time that you're invisible. So I'm over here just going invisible nonstop, and I'm like, this is too much fun.
Yeah, you're having fun. But imagine that shit in the Crucible, how annoying. Because I've seen shit like that, where people are just running around invisible, like almost all game.
Now, here's the thing. In Crucible, it kind of tells you who's paying attention more to the radar than they are to the screen.
Right.
Because in Crucible, invisibility, while it is a powerful ability, it's not the end-all, be-all.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can clearly see this guy over here is like, yo, you over here coming at me like Static Shock. I can clearly see.
Well,
right.
You can see that, but sometimes, like, I had a situation where I was, like, fighting a guy. He jumps down, like, a ledge, right? and he crouches. So he jumps on a ledge. I kind of jump down there, like looking for him. Like, and I'm not an idiot. I'm not just gonna jump down there and then turn around. I jumped down, but because the motion's kind of going so fast, it made it difficult for him to see. I didn't realize where he was until like the last second, and he killed me. Like, yeah, if they're running around, I can see that. If they're running around, I can see that. But sometimes, like, having invisibility and you're kind of swiping back and forth, there's a difference.
Right.
So, but that's
Master Class Hunter.
Yes, exactly.
Master Race. We are the PC of the Destiny environment.
Well, that's for PvP, hunters are too much, dude. They really are.
Hunters are so ghost. All you Chobo noobs, get out of here.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, the hunters were just too much for PvP, and that's a big deal. But I'm coming with my hunters soon. They need to watch the fuck out.
Oh yeah.
Because I was killing them before, and now I'm gonna have Arcblade. So there's gonna be some problems.
Right.
Oh, man.
I will say this. It also, when you have a hunter that has extremely powerful weapons, it makes PvP completely feel broken.
Yeah.
If that hunter had some like basic weapons or just regular legendary, not to say it would be fair, but it's more of a fight than it is when they have a mythic class or they have where they can shoot 4 golden guns or the extended. There's just a lot of things that can.
Yeah.
Which, like, it brings me to the question of why they have Crucible specific weapons like that you can buy, like when they don't really give you an advantage in the Crucible. And from what I've seen, like the exotic weapons that you get from raids, and some of the other weapons seem to be better suited for the Crucible. So why even have that specific vendor for those weapons?
Now, I agree with you if it was before the DLC. After the DLC,
right.
After the DLC, they kind of changed things a little bit. And what I mean by that is this. Before the DLC, there was a gun, an amazing gun. I completely forgot the name of the auto rifle now. It was with the Vanguard Quartermaster. And it had an insane amount of stability, and it had pretty decent impact too. And so if you didn't have Suros, it was the next best thing, and it was an amazing PvP weapon. PvE, it was okay, but right. PvP is where it really shined, because you just see right on the head.
Right.
Ever since the new update, they've lowered the impact for all auto rifles across the board. They're all down. There's only one gun still around that has the original stats, and that's the Vanquisher 8 that you can get from New Monarchy. It's basically the Vanquisher 8 version 2.0. People are still waiting for I'm getting really pissed off that I completely forgot the name of the original auto rifle. Regardless, ever since the update, there's been the balance for the weapons and the armor for Crucible vendors, and that includes the factions. All of them are more balanced so that you have better intellect and discipline, which are the two big things. If you have high discipline and high intellect, you're just throwing nonstop grenades and you're dropping supers left and right.
Right.
If you have high strength, that means that you can do a blink strike, but it doesn't help you out with supers and stuff.
Right.
So I definitely think they improved or balanced it out, the weapons somewhat that you can buy, but that still doesn't change the fact that pre-DLC stuff is still a little overpowered.
Well, I mean, they did balance out some of the weapons, but the fact that there's just these few weapons that completely throw a game into disarray, like the Vex Mythal class, and they nerfed that gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they rebuffed it. It's not buffed to where it was, but there's no reason for a Vex Mythic class to be doing more damage per headshot than the Suros.
Yeah,
right.
And that's another one that they nerfed.
You're right. They took that one down too.
It's still a problem, a huge problem.
Shadow Price. That's the name of the gun.
Shadow Price. I've been killed with that. Yep.
Yeah, it's still.
you'll see a lot of shadow prices out there because in Crucible, it doesn't really matter if it's 331 or not.
Mhm.
Iron Banner, that's a problem because you're just not doing as much damage as a maxed out Suros.
Right.
But yeah,
So I think that kind of pretty much covers what we had been talking about, man.
Yeah.
Like, because that like the last weekend and the Crucible was just too much because we were running into so many hunters with Soroses and Dex Metal Class. It was the worst weekend in the Crucible ever.
Oh man, it was bad.
It was bad. I mean, you would hear a golden gun go off. Then immediately after that, another golden gun. Then immediately after that, a blade dancer. Then immediately after that, another golden gun and another blade dancer. It was unbelievable. And because they keep dropping orbs of light when they're killing everybody,
exactly.
and you just pick it up, and it's like, dude, you've got to be kidding me now.
I honestly think that they should shut off orbs of light for Crucible.
That actually,
Yes.
that's a good idea.
It can, I mean, for example, if you were to get kills with a warlock and you're just dropping 6 orbs of light, it becomes insane when somebody maxed out their super right then and there, use a super, get another super from getting all these orbs of light, and you're just getting
Right.
You're right. That's actually a really good idea. But they have a lot of work to do. Who knows if they're gonna use? But I mean, the only one of the reasons I play right now is because I do the Crucible so much, and if it really becomes too much, I get to the point that it's just not fun.
Mhm.
I'm done. I really don't have a reason to play because I definitely don't want to play PvE over and over again all the time.
Right.
Right.
So I agree.
PvE is still satisfying to me for some strange, unforsaken reason, and I don't know why. But I've noticed myself playing a lot. I'm not as bothered when I don't get my 100 Crucible marks for the week as I used to be.
Well, it's PvE was more enjoyable for me when I was lower level. Now that I'm at 30, 31, it's not even really fun anymore. The fun part was because we were doing let's say the weekly strike. I was 26, he'd be 28, and we put it on level 30.
Oh, that's a damn shame. You know better than that.
Well, no, but we won. We would finish.
Yeah, we beat a couple of them.
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, that was some bad ass shit going on right there.
We had some Mega Man moments with.
Oh my god! Yeah, and it would take time, but once we figure out what we needed to do, it would work. Actually, one of them was the Nexus Strike.
Oh god!
Yes.
But you can take advantage of that.
Doing the Nexus Strike on level 30, and neither of you are fucking level 30, dude. Once we that splash damage alone is enough to kill you.
Yeah.
And so doing that on level 30 and then actually finishing it, making it work and getting through it and getting those 9 strange coins, the 9 that I got then were some of the most satisfying strange coins I've ever had.
Yes.
But now that I'm 31 and we could go do that with one arm tied behind our back, forget about it, man.
Yes, it's almost like we just play PvE so we can go to the Crucible.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it's come to, man.
So you have the inverse that I have.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what we do. We do our bounties, we do our dailies, and we do it weekly, and then we're like, all right, let's go do some control. Let's go play Clash. That's what we do, and we basically, we level up as much as we can, get our weapons, different things, and then we just go into Crucible and just wreak havoc. I used to wreak havoc. I don't know about now. My skills are on vacation for right now. I don't know what happened, but
I have to play with you guys because I'm curious to see how you guys play. Plus, I don't mind helping you guys out with PvE and raid stuff. I have raid groups that I can run with all the time, so let me know.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we'll add you on PSN.
Definitely.
Because we're always when we play, and now probably a bad time because now it looks like we suck. We were just talking shit, but that wasn't the case. I have screenshots of games where I've gotten 3 KD, 4.5 KD, 5 KD, in Crucible matches.
Right.
And then
that's
you turn around and you get .15.
yeah, exactly. Like now, like I'm averaging between like 0.75 and like 1, somewhere between there. I mean, I've gotten more than that, of course. I'll say my average probably 0.85 right now, like from the last 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah.
You know,
Mine's probably lower.
and it's
'Cause-
like, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything different. In fact, I have better weapons. You know,
yeah.
this was
yeah.
before, like the shotgun I was using before was not even upgraded. Like the max damage was 300, the impact was all right, but the invincive is a much better shotgun, and yeah, like it's I'm not. You know what? The up close kills, I'm still getting them. I'm still getting the up close kills. I'm getting kills from a distance way more often. I'm seeing
Right.
way more hunters with use that the teleporting jump just
Oh.
kind of to get out of the way.
Oh,
That
God.
is so
That-
annoying.
That is overpowered because you can't get hit while you're doing that jump.
Right.
Warlocks
Exactly.
have it,
They
don't
do.
they?
Warlocks do have it, but I didn't like it because it was like I'll use it and not know where I was.
Right.
It's the
Right.
same thing. I never use it. I prefer having the high. I can't remember if it's higher jump or whatnot, but the only reason I do that is because it gives you better agility.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I use, and I'll attack things from a distance. And then some poor unfortunate soul wants to get close. Well, there's found verdict up in your face.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll definitely play and we'll get together. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that's I think that's it for us. All the complaining is done. Maybe Bungie will listen to it and be, hey, these guys are right, but they probably won't.
Yeah.
So
Now, I have a question for you guys, like right before we dip out or whatever. Like, how do you feel about your level being connected to levels of light and armor instead of just leveling up how you do when you first get into the game before, when you're leveling up to 20? Do you think it was, good for them to try something different, or do you think like that was retarded?
My question to you that'll help answer that question is, if there was more to do in PvE where you don't feel like it was a grind, would you have as much problem with it?
Okay. I see what you're saying.
And that's why I believe the original system that they had right there, the light system, would have worked if the scope was larger.
Right.
And if you could get I don't know why they do this. You know what really grinds my gears? I'm going there with it. You don't get any experience or any glimmer at all, even if you throw on one of the glimmer items when you're doing a raid, except for certain rooms.
right, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense, and then you see people doing exclusion zone nonstop, or they get the save in the raid to do the in the first raid to do the what is it called, the gatekeeper section, where you're just killing nonstop precursors, descendant hobgoblins and goblins to get an absurd amount of glimmer. It should Bungie should never make things where you have to grind,
Right.
and yet I am grinding the hell out of everything in this damn game.
Right.
Same
Just
here.
because I want to upgrade my gun or whatever, and it's really annoying sometimes.
Right.
It is definitely annoying. Now, another question I have, like, how do you guys feel with the levels being connected to, with PvP and PvE? Like, because I just thought about that with some guys coming in that just do PvE and having a high enough level, like let's say Iron Banner, they come in and they're 32 because they play PvO all day, and they can just come in and dominate multiplayer. Like, what do you think about that?
I am completely against that concept of the level that you get in PvE reflecting in PvP. They're I understand why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I say that I understand is because they're basically making the Crucible a quote-unquote training zone. Only problem is if you don't have the right weapons, it's not much of a training. You're just going to fall down.
Yeah. Right.
So, in theory, I understand what they were trying to do. In practice, it's completely ass backwards. So, what I would have done is what he was talking about, where your level in PvP is completely different from your level in PvE.
Yes.
It should not be the same. It does.
Right.
It's a completely different skill set. I'm modifying my hunter with the perks and whatever based on whether I'm in PvP or PvE.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm doing completely different things in PvP than what I'm doing in PvE. It should reflect that. It should have a completely different leveling system.
Right.
Right. I mean,
I agree.
they should have taken the Guild Wars approach and really, like, if you're just the person that wants to come in and play PvE or PvP, so be it. Here's your character. You can, you can get a different. Either you start at the highest level, or they could go more of a Warhammer, type deal where actually they don't even have to start you at the highest level. They can start you at level 20 as opposed to starting you at level 1, and then you just have to get your gear in the Crucible, which would be difficult. But they
It's
could do
really difficult.
They could take like the Warhammer approach. Warhammer Online, one of my favorite MMOs. You could get into that game and only play PvP. Like that game, I PvE'd between being queued up for PvP.
Right.
That's what I
Right.
did. So like, they could take that approach. But yeah, the game. You're right. It really is geared for PvE, and I wouldn't necessarily mind the armor thing so much if your armor wasn't completely random. Your stuff you get was
Right.
completely random in the Crucible.
Right.
Like
right.
how
I was-
can I? How
I
can
was about to mention that.
Dude,
Yeah.
how can I be number one on the winning team, 4.5 kill death ratio, and I get 0?
Nothing. Exactly. And I think that was one of the matches when I was like last, and I got like a legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for one of the things that they've done with the latest DLC is that when you do Vanguard Rock, you have a very high chance of either getting a legendary or exotic. I've gotten 3 exotic weapons, 3
Yeah.
from Vanguard Rock, and about 15 legendary engrams.
Hmm.
I've gotten a lot of good stuff from Vanguard Rock. I go and do Crucible. I'm like, okay, I got another blue item that I'm going to break down. Or I don't even get squat.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's a problem in itself. That's why I think they should really break it down into tiers.
Right.
Or,
Agreed.
or even this, if you win, everybody's guaranteed 2 things. Even in a blue engram, you can get motes of light and strange coins and stuff from the blue engrams. People disregard those blue engrams. You can even get legendary items from blue engrams.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if my thing would be is if your team wins, then everybody at least gets something, a blue engram or weapon or something, like kind of like what happens with Vanguard Rock.
Right.
Everybody at least gets 2 engrams or something, and then if you're on a losing, let's say, remember that one best around medal where you're the best person, but the rest of your team is
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
You get something good for basically carrying that team. Like, bam, here's a purple engram every so often. Bam,
Yeah.
there you go. Here's a blue engram. Here's a weapon. Like, make it so that the losing team, the 3 best people get something, and the other 3 might not get anything. Or every so often, throw a bone to the lowest tier person. But there's no reason for every, like, 2 of the lowest people there getting like exotic or something absolutely obscene, and you're just
Yeah.
like, what am I doing here? I'm better off just sitting in the corner getting 2 Crucible marks each time than it is to move around.
Oh yeah, like when that guy got a Suros regime
Mhm.
while being the 0 assists, 0 captures, like 3-4 kills or something like that. Dude, I want to throw my controller through my TV. Oh, it's like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and because he got it now, it's a 331.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. So, dude, yeah. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap us up here because that went longer than I expected, but it was good talk. Good talk,
Good
guys.
stuff. Good stuff.
Very
Yeah.
interesting stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So, as always, thank you for listening. You can catch us on SoundCloud, which is soundcloud.com/mashthosebuttons. We are on iTunes for your iOS devices. We are on Stitcher Smart Radio for streaming and download on your Android and iOS devices. We are on Facebook, which is facebook.com/mashthosebuttons. Twitter, so twitter.com/MTB site. And YouTube, youtube.com/mashthosebuttons. And I gave you guys the screen names in the beginning. Look us up. If you want to die, it's up to you. Like, hey, all I'm saying, unless you're a hunter, then you'll probably own us. But I'm coming back with my hunter. I'm coming back with the hunter, and I'm killing everybody. Everybody dies.
I'm more than happy to help people with the raid. GO, the number 2 NRG for PlayStation 4. Let's do some raiding. I love raiding, even if I've already done it. So,
all right, there it is. All right, so we will catch you guys later.
bye.
Cheers.